Namaste friends, a very warm welcome to Sayujyayogacommunity Yoga with Prutha and Hardik. I'm Prutha Bhatt and I'm back with yet another video about MCQs of Upanishad. So let's begin. The first question that you are seeing on the screen is, which technique is mentioned for Bramha Anubhuti and Bhriguvalli according to Taitariya Upanishad? And the correct answer is option number C, Tapa. Now friends, Taitariya Upanishad is divided into three sections. First is Shiksha Valli, the second is Brahmanandavalli, and the third is Bhriguvalli. Okay, now according to Bhriguvalli, Tapa is the technique used for attaining Brahma Anubhuti. Now friends, Bhriguvalli opens with Bhrigu approaching his father Varuna to seek knowledge about Brahma. Okay, now Varuna said to Bhrigu that Anna, Prana, Chakshu, Kshotra and Mana and even Vacha are Brahma. Now Bhrigu was keen to know more about the Supreme Being and the ultimate reality of life, for which he underwent all the necessary disciplines. The implication is that he withdrew his mind from the outer objects and concentrated and performed austerities to understand what his father said. So, he performed tapa to have Brahma Anubhuti. So, we got the answer that according to Taitariya Upanishad, to have Brahma Anubhuti, the technique mentioned is tapa. Let's move further. Prana is compared to what in Prashnopanishad? And the correct answer is option number A, Aditya. Now friends, Prashnopanishad is in the form of conversation between sage Pippalada and six seekers. Now once Kabandi asked the question to his master sage Pippalada that from what all the praja arise. That is, he wanted to know what was the source of the creation. To him, sage Pippalada replied, Prajapati, who was desirous of offspring, performed penas or tapa, and by that he produced the pair of prana and rai. What is prana? Prana is energy and rai is matter. So prana is the chetana tattva and rai is the jada tattva, which is nothing but prakruti, so that they would bring forth innumerable creatures. Now here this prana is compared to Aditya, that is sun, and Rai is compared to Chandra, that is moon. Now friends, see, I gave you the answer of another question also. There can be a question that Rai is compared to what in Prashnopanishad. Okay, so if you know this little story, you can easily answer this question. Let's move further. The next question is Varna, Swara, Matra, Bala, Sama, Sandhi. These are the essence of Shiksha. The above statement is from which Upanishad? Okay. And the correct answer is option number C, Taitariya Upanishad. Now friends, Shiksha is the science of pronunciation. Okay. It deals with sound, pitch, quantity, force, modulation and combination. So this is explained in Taitariya Upanishad in Shiksha Valli. Let's move further. The next question is, Aitariya Upanishad is related to which Veda? And the correct answer is option number C, Rigveda. Now friends, we should know that there is a difference between Taitariya Upanishad and Aitariya Upanishad. So don't get confused when you hear such name. This is a question about Aitariya Upanishad and this Upanishad is related to Rigveda. The next question is, as per Trishika Brahmana Upanishad, the very feeling of indifference is, the options are meditation, concentration, asana and pratyahar, but the correct answer is asana. Okay. Now friends, see, sometimes these are the questions where you don't understand what they're actually trying to mean. Okay. So I would strongly recommend for some of the philosophy questions or for some questions of Upanishad, please go through Hindi drop down. There will be a Hindi drop down given. So if you don't understand English question, go to Hindi drop down, select the question in Hindi and then answer accordingly. Okay, just because you don't understand what they are trying to ask or you don't understand the English in which they have asked, don't skip the question. Okay, just remember one thing, go to Hindi drop down and find the correct question and correct answer for the same. So the answer is option number C, asana. The next question is, as per Yogatattva Upanishad, what is prescribed timeline for dharna of Panchamahabhuta? And the correct answer is option number C, 5 ghatika. Now friends, according to Yogatattva Upanishad, one should attain mastery over Panchamahabhuta by forcing prana in the region of that particular Mahabhuta and meditating along with the Bija mantra for a period of 5 ghatika on the Lord of that particular Mahabhuta. Every Mahabhuta has particular deity or particular Lord. Now by performing these 5 dharna, one becomes strong and never meets death even when merging with Brahman. Okay. Now you can't take it technically that one never meets death, but this is a symbolic meaning which is being mentioned in Upanishad. So the next question we move to is, as per Yogatattva Upanishad, how many parts of Hatha Yoga are mentioned? And the correct answer is option number D, 8. Now, according to Yogatattva Upanishad, yoga is divided into many kinds, okay, especially on account of its action, that is Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga, okay. Now, there are 4 avasthas common for each of this yoga. Now, which are those? Arambha, Ghata, Parichaya and Nishpatti. Now friends, Hatha Yoga is said to possess the 8 subservience, okay. Which are they? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyaha, Dharna, Dhyan, Samadhi. Now you must be wondering, these are very similar to Ashtanga Yoga, okay. So how does it come under Hatha Yoga? Okay, so here is the answer. One must note that Yogatattva Upanishad does not clearly differentiate between Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. According to this Upanishad, the goal of Raja Yoga is achieved through Hatha Yoga, and Raja Yoga is an umbrella term that includes Hatha Yoga. So don't get confused when you have questions from Yogatattva Upanishad. According to Yogatattva Upanishad, Hatha Yoga has 8 parts because there is no clear-cut demarcation between Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga when it comes to Yogatattva Upanishad. The next question we move to is, according to Nada Bindu Upanishad, the yogic practice of Nada Shravana ought to be undertaken in which asana and mudra? And the correct answer is option number C, Siddhasana and Vaishnavi Mudra. Now friends, Nada Bindu is the 38th of 108 Upanishad, okay, and it forms a part of Rigveda. Now this Upanishad is the philosophy of the sound Om. As you said, Nada is sound, so it describes the philosophy of the sound Om. Now what is Nada Bindu? Okay, Nada is the sound heard in the ear during the deep state of meditation, and Bindu is the dot or the starting point. Sound of Om is the starting point of the cosmos. The cosmos begins out of the Bindu and it dissolves back in the Bindu. Now friends, when you talk about Nada Bindu Upanishad, there is something called Vairagya Vidya, okay. Now what is Vairagya Vidya? Vairagya Vidya is a technique of meditation to get rid of all the sins. Now through this technique, one can have Nada Shravana in the deep state of meditation. And this is to be practiced by assuming Siddhasana and Vaishnavi Mudra. So you must be wondering that just for small thing we had to go here and there to find the answer. But yes friends, if you don't know the history and geography about what is Nada Bindu, what it talks about, you will never come to the answer. So that is the small idea that I could give you about this Upanishad. The next question is, apart from Bhagavad Gita, in which of the following scriptures do we find a description of Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano? Okay, and the correct answer is option number B, Kathopanishad. Now mantra number 18 of Kathopanishad elaborates on this. Okay, now it is very similar to what it is given in Bhagavad Gita. It says that the Atman is not born nor it dies. It did not spring from anything and nothing sprang from it. This is unborn, eternal, everlasting, ancient, is not slain when the body is destroyed. The same concept is elaborated upon in Bhagavad Gita in chapter number 2, verse number 20. In one of the examination, there was a question that Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano is explained or is mentioned in which two scriptures? So we know the answer. One is Bhagavad Gita and the other is Kathopanishad. And the next question is, as per Dhyana Bindu Upanishad, which laya is inherent in third part of Omkara, that is Makara? We all know that third part of Omkara is Makara, okay? And the correct answer is option number 3, which says that Dhyu and Samaveda are the correct answer. Now friends, Dhyana Bindu Upanishad is 39th of 108 Upanishad. It forms part of Krishna Yajurveda, whereas a smaller version of 26 verses was found attached to Atharva Veda. Okay. Now see, we all know there are 3 parts of Omkara. First is Akara, second is Ukara, and third is Makara. Okay. Now let me just give you a brief about this. So when we talk about Akara, so Prithvi, Agni, Rigveda and Bhuhu gets absorbed. The deity for Akara is Brahma, color is Pitta Varna, and the guna is Rajas. Now we talk about the second part of Omkar, that is Ukara. Antariksha, Yajurveda, Vayu, Bhuvaha gets absorbed, and the deity for it is Vishnu, color is Shweta, and guna is Sattva. And the last is related to our question, which says that Makara, which is the last part of Omkara, where Dhyu, Surya, Samaveda, Swaha gets absorbed. And the deity for that is Maheshwara, color is Shukla, and guna is Tamas. Now what is absorbed or what is absorption? Absorption is nothing but a laya. Okay friends. And the last question that you see on the screen is, in which of the following Upanishad Shadanga Yoga has been prescribed? Okay. And the correct answer is option number 2, which says that Yoga Chudamani and Dhyana Bindu, these are the 2 Upanishads where Shadanga Yoga has been prescribed. What is Shadanga? Shada is 6, Anga is limbs. So Shadanga is 6 limbs. So Yoga Chudamani and Dhyana Bindu both talks about asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharna, dhyan and samadhi. So these 2 are the Upanishad which talks about Shadanga Yoga. Thank you friends for joining me for this video. I hope this video was useful for you. I will come up with many such videos on MCQs on Upanishad. So please stay connected. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. And please don't forget to press the bell icon to get regular updates about our videos on NET examination and other yogic practices. Namaste.